start streaming. Yay! Alright, here we go.
Is it working?
Almost. You are live! Sweet, we are live. We are live. We are live. Thank you guys for joining us. Here we are. I'm just gonna move my windows around here so I can read the chat. Read the chat.
Have you done YouTube Live?
I have.
Have you?
Yeah.
That's cool. We do more of those.
Mm-hmm. But this is like maybe like my fifth one,
Okay.
I would say. I really haven't done a lot. But yeah, there we go. Looking good, looking good.
Cool.
How's everybody doing? Awesome, awesome. So yeah, we just wanted to come on live and just chat and answer some questions. So if you guys have any questions, please type them in the chat and we will answer those. Hey, hey, hello from Edmonton.
Edmonton.
Oh, Miss Edmonton.
You guys get snow there or what?
Yeah, is there snow in Edmonton? I know my dad went to Sanctum. It's a couple hours from Edmonton and it snowed there overnight. So from Argentina, much love. Hi from the Netherlands, New York. Woo, we've got everyone coming in here.
So cool.
Awesome, awesome. And we have, ooh, little Jai Jai. Here's Jai Jai. Say hi, Jai Jai. No snow in Edmonton. Hi from Calgary, Canary Islands. Nice. Eugene, awesome. Welcome, welcome. Welcome, everybody. So yeah, this is basically just going to be a question answer YouTube live. So if you guys have any burning questions that you want to ask us, feel free to. Nate's just going to be in the background. He's going to be making kale chips and
prepping up for some more banana ice cream.
Banana ice cream. He's got some bananas to freeze. So hi from the UK. Hello, hello. Much love. Thank you for joining me. But yeah, so you guys can post your questions down below or in the comment section. Hi from France. Studio Pilates. Awesome. Thank you for joining. To start off this live, I was thinking of chatting about the ratio of fruit to greens. So a lot of questions are asked about the amount of fruit to greens. So if you're new to the raw vegan diet and you are trying to think like, should I be eating a lot of fruit? Should I be eating a lot of greens? What should I be doing? I personally think that it's best to include both. So not all fruit, but not all greens, because if you're just doing all fruit, you're missing out on the fiber, the minerals, and that fiber is really beneficial for your good bacteria. So if you aren't eating enough of the roughage, this can cause issues. Plus, if you're drinking a lot of juices from the fruit, that can be imbalanced as well. So it's really beneficial to have some of both. Now, the percentage really is up to you. A high percentage of our diet comes from fruit because we do fruit in the morning, fruit as snacks, and dates in our dressings to get those calories high. But we do 2 salads a day for the most part, 2 salads a day, if not for sure 100% one. And yeah, so that's where I feel I am on the fruit and greens. I think greens are vitally important. Wouldn't you agree?
I definitely agree.
Greens are so important, but I also don't think that the high greens, no fruit, is a good idea because we need the calories from the fruit. It's very, very difficult to get all your calories on just vegetables and like the lower sweet fruits like the tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, that kind of thing. It's a little bit difficult to get all your calories. If you need to do lower fruit, you could stick with the low glycemic ones like berries, apples, pears, like the tree fruits. That could help too, but again, you're gonna need to eat a lot. So a combination of both is ideal, I think. Lots of fruit to get all your calories and your hydration, and then lots of greens and other veggies to get your variety to feed your good bacteria. So we got some questions. Jai Jai, love from the UK. Jai. How does Nate earn an income since leaving his job? That's a question. Right now, he's working on his nice cream book, and
Savings.
savings, yeah, savings. That's where it is. But it's all good. He's working on his nice cream book, and there is an opportunity to go work on a farm, possibly in the next couple weeks. So that's good. That's good. Hi from Germany. We got 2 from Germany back to back. What do you think of the SOS, salt, oil, sugar, cooked free, or free cooked vegan diet? Half veg, half starch. Well, I personally, I wouldn't eat that way unless it was for survival purposes. Like I couldn't get any fresh fruit, and like supplies were dwindling, then I would probably use it as a backup. And not saying that it's bad. If you want to eat that way, that's totally cool. But I find that cooked food in any form is very dehydrating on the body, even boiled. Because if you boil a potato, you're still releasing a lot of the natural hydration in it, and it is more dehydrating. So you're constantly in a deficit of hydration, especially if you're eating things like breads, pastas, cereals, crackers, cookies, anything like that. I know that it wouldn't have the sugar in it, obviously wouldn't do cookies, but a lot of people do like kale chips or like really natural homemade breads and stuff. Those are all very dehydrating foods, so it can steal some of your water. But again, not knocking the vegan diet at all, because it's beneficial for the animals and for your health. It's just what level of health do you want? If you're not able to get fresh fruit, then definitely use it as a backup plan. If you can get fresh fruit though. And if you're looking for starch sources, I think one of the best sources of starch would be bean sprouts. Lentil sprouts, we eat a lot of lentil sprouts. We always have fresh ones soaking, ready to go, and we've got cups and cups of them in the fridge. We eat maybe 1 to 2 cups of sprouts a day, and that is a great starch source for a raw vegan. But aside from that, I personally don't feel it's necessary in my point where I am in my life. So if you feel you want to eat the starch, then that's cool. Yeah. Nate's setting up for his time lapse. I have missed live lunch videos every day. Will you be starting them again? Oh, the live lunch videos. Yeah, when Nate was working at the other farm, I would make the lunch time lapse, or I would be filming it in the morning. And the live lunch videos, yes, we want to do more of that. We want to do more lives, and we want to put out more content. We're trying really hard to get a lot of content out. Nate has a bunch of videos still for May, as do I. I think I have up to mid-July for daily videos, and the daily video today that's coming out will be about eating raw on a budget and saving money and how to shop to get the best deals and stuff like that. So that's coming out after this live. I'll post that, but yeah. Can you take us to the farmer's market again soon? Oh, we went today. Show the lettuce.
Oh, yes. Look at this. Look
Check
at
it out.
beauty.
That lettuce. That's going to be lunch.
Yeah.
So we did go to the market. I did film a little bit, but because it's so interesting these days, it's kind of like I can't get close up to the food for videos, and you know, everyone's wearing a mask and it's social distancing and stuff, so it's kind of, there isn't a vibe there like there normally is. It's just you go in, you get your stuff, and you get out. It kind of sucks because we don't have that vibrancy. There isn't anyone playing music. There's no energy there anymore. It's kind of sad, but at least we have the opportunity to go to the market. Any recommendations for fat-free crackers? Cracker recipe. Yeah, the thing is with crackers or anything dehydrated fully, it's hard to get it fat-free, wraps specifically, because you need it to be pliable. But with crackers, you could use carrot pulp or any juicing pulp if you have any, if you even juice. You could use that as part of the crackers. We haven't played around with a lot of cracker recipes, but might in the future. I know there's a lot of awesome ones online. You could just search fat-free raw cracker recipe. I'm sure you'd find a lot. But in the future, we might work on that. The only reason why we don't do a lot of crackers and stuff, we do have them on very special occasions. We'll get them from higher power raw foods here in the valley. She makes some awesome ones. She puts like a nori sheet on the bottom and then pours the cracker sauce on top and then dehydrates it like that. So it's got like a nori sheet on the bottom, which are really cool. But we don't like eating a lot of the crackers because it feels really heavy. It feels like cooked food. It feels drying, dehydrating. It can cause gas and bloating because the water content isn't there. It's fully dehydrated, so there is no water. And even if you drink water, it doesn't seem to make the same effect. Like it doesn't really help with the digestion. It might a little bit, but I just find I feel really after. So if I do eat crackers, it's like one here or there. I don't really eat a lot of it. Yeah. I have all your books, love them, awesome recipes, beautiful photography. Thank you so much. Let's see, we got another one. Can you help me? I start to use Chronometer since a few weeks. I noticed that I'm low in calcium and iron. I don't know how much I need. Can you tell me how much to get? So calcium and iron, that's a really, really good question because we tend to be worried about those specific ones because you can get a lot of that in an animal-based diet, or if you're eating a lot of other foods that might be fortified in calcium. So calcium and iron are very, very high in greens. And if you're eating enough variety, if you're eating like 2,400 calories or so, it's really easy to get enough of your vitamins and minerals because you're just eating more food. And that's why I really, really push greens, because greens are super high in calcium. They're very high in iron. They're really good for you. They're full of minerals, so healthy. So greens are definitely one to look for. Nate and I will eat 1 to 2 heads, sometimes 3 heads of romaine hearts in a day. So we get a lot of our calcium and minerals and protein from that, and omega-3s as well. Calcium also, broccoli, bok choy is really high in calcium, oranges. Basically everything has a small amount, but it's about eating a larger amount of foods to get all of that in. Plus, as a side note, vegans need less calcium than meat eaters, or if you're eating a lot of junk food and stuff like that. We need a lot less because we're not eating a lot of acidic foods or acid forming foods. So according to Dr. Greger, I think, mentioned it, and Garth Davis both, we need around 500 to 800 milligrams of calcium if you're a vegan. So that's a bonus, and it's very easy. I get around 1,200 to 1,600 milligrams of calcium a day in my diet, but I also eat 2,400 to 2,700 calories a day, lots of greens, lots and lots and lots and lots of greens. So there you go. Your iron, definitely from your greens. Eat those dark leafy greens and lots of variety. Variety is key. And also when you're playing in Chronometer, if you tap on the actual nutrient, like if you tap on iron, it'll show you your top sources. So if you see like lettuce is the #1 source, then eat more lettuce. If you see dates are high in iron, eat more dates. There's some things in there that are high in certain things, and you can see that just by tapping on the minerals. So if you tap on calcium, you'll see your top sources of calcium, and just eat more of those. Let's see. Started 30-day meal plan and feel really good in energy, but what if I don't like to eat bananas so much? That's a great question, because not a lot of people like to eat a lot of bananas, and that's totally cool. If you don't like bananas, just swap them out for another fruit. It's totally fine. The reason why I choose bananas is because they're easy, they're inexpensive, and we can make a lot of ice cream with them. But you can make ice cream with mangoes and strawberries. You can just make like a sorbet if you want. You don't have to have bananas. They're just really easy to grab and go. They're 100 calories each, so it's really easy to gauge how many I need, how many I want. They're a good filler. If they're frozen in a smoothie, they're kind of more creamy, so you don't have to add the fats to your smoothie, which I don't like to do. But yeah, so if you don't like bananas so much, definitely just swap it out for a fruit that you do like. There's plenty of options out there. You don't have to eat bananas, but you can just swap it out for whatever. Is there any way fonio can be consumed on a raw diet. I'm not sure what fonio is. Can you enlighten me? Because I don't know. Do you know what fonio is?
Fonio?
Yeah, Fonio. Is
Not
that
FOMO, right?
not FOMO?
Fonio?
Fonio. Yeah, she said, is there any way fonio can be consumed on a raw diet? I'm not sure what that is. I'd like to know.
Yeah.
I used to love it before going raw earlier this year. I'm not sure. Please expand on that. Do you have a yard to plant veggies of your own? We don't have a yard, but we do have like one of those boxes, the raised beds. And Nate put this really cool net around because there's deer that live here in Ashland and they walk around and they eat everything. So we made a nice little net and we have 24 heads of lettuce growing in that raised bed, because lettuce is the thing we eat the most of. I would say that would be easy to grow ourselves, so that's why we chose to grow the lettuce. We can just chop off the leaves as needed and they'll just keep growing for the season. And we have, I don't know if it's growing yet, but we had a blue kale in there. I'm not sure if he survived but the other ones are doing great. They don't call me Jana Banana for nothing. Bananas. Yeah, bananas. Nate is going to be freezing bananas here behind. He's got this tray. That's the cookie sheet, and he's got his time-lapse video getting ready to go here. Yeah, so Nate, your the freezing of the bananas.
Yes.
Yes. Why do you use a cookie sheet?
I use the cookie sheet because you can fit so much more on the cookie sheet.
And you just slide it into the freezer, freeze it like that for 24 hours or so, and then take it out and we break them up and put them in freezer bags. The freezer bags we have, we leave in the freezer. So once we empty it, like when we're finished with all the bananas from the bag, we just fold up the bag and keep it in the freezer so we don't have to wash it, and then we just reuse it for fresh, new frozen bananas. And it's really cool to do it that way because I hate washing bags. But you could use like a glass container or something like that. Can a raw food diet hurt my teeth? Great question. Yeah, so for dental care on a raw diet, any diet can hurt your teeth. Any diet can hurt your teeth. Actually, I went to the Canada Dental Association website, and on their website, they said 100% of Canadians and North Americans have dental issues. 100%. So it's not the raw diet, it's any diet. The thing is, it's the acidity in our mouth that is creating the tooth decay. It's not sugar. Sugar is indirectly involved, but it's not the sugar itself that rots our teeth. It's the bacteria's byproduct from consuming the sugar that rots our teeth. So if I pulled one of my teeth and I put it in this thing of orange juice, the orange juice is acidic, so it would probably erode a little bit from the acidity. But if I took a tooth and I put it in a jar of sugar water, so it's just sugar and water, nothing would happen to the tooth. But if I took that tooth and I put it in a container of, say, Coca-Cola or soda or something that's acidic, like the orange juice, then it's going to start to erode. It's the acidity. And when you have sugar in your mouth, after eating a banana smoothie or whatever, that sugar is going to feed the bacteria in your mouth. And the bacteria, after eating the sugar, they create byproduct, just like we do. And their byproduct is acidic. And that acidity is what erodes our teeth. So the best thing that you can do on a raw diet is to rinse your mouth out after any meal. Any meal. Rinse your mouth out. Even if you aren't raw, rinse your mouth out after eating. Rinse it really well. Get that sugar out. It's not recommended to brush after a meal. You want to brush maybe 45 minutes to an hour after eating, just because your enamel might be soft. So yeah, that's what I would say. And don't use a toothpaste with what was it? Glycerin. Glycerin. Don't use glycerin in your toothpaste because the glycerin coats your teeth. So the reason why they put it in toothpaste is because they think that it prevents the bacteria from eating away your teeth, but it actually prevents your teeth from being remineralized. And the remineralization process from your saliva, if you're eating a high mineral dense diet with lots of greens, lots of minerals, then your saliva will be full of those minerals to remineralize your teeth. But if you have glycerin coating your teeth after you've brushed your teeth at night, then you can't effectively remineralize your teeth with your mineral-rich saliva. So finding a toothpaste that doesn't have glycerin is ideal in my books. I think it's the best way to do it, and we use Magic Mud. It doesn't have any glycerin in it. So there's my dental talk. Hope you guys love that. When will we see Nate's mom on video again? We miss her. You'll have to message her. She's doing her own thing, so if you want to see her, definitely head over to her channel and message. But yeah, that's on that one here. Let's see, Lissa, did you have bloating problems when you started this diet? Everybody's probably going to have a little bit of discomfort in the beginning, especially if you're coming from a standard North American diet where you're eating lower fiber. So what happens is we really have two clumps of bacteria. There's thousands of bacteria, but there's two main groups, I would say. There's the fiber thriving group, which lives on raw plant fiber, and they're the ones that convert vitamins and nutrients into things that we need. They are our best friends. They're part of our immune system. They can even determine our weight, our mood. They're so incredibly important, and they live on raw plant fiber. Then you have these guys who eat dead matter. They're kind of like the cleanup crew. They eat animal products, processed foods, fats, and cooked foods, because if you cook a food long enough, the fiber's damaged, and these guys are going to end up eating it instead of the plant-based or the whole raw fiber-based guys. So you got these two groups. If you're coming from a standard North American diet, this group is probably very small, and this group is probably very big because you eat a lot of processed foods or whatever, right? So you've got this much in here. And say one day you eat a big giant salad, you only have this many little tiny colony to help digest the big salad. So they can't effectively do it properly, but you need to feed them so that they can grow. And when you start eating that way, so you've got like all of these guys, right? And then you start eating a little bit of salad here and there, and you grow and you grow and you grow and you grow, and pretty soon these guys get small and these guys take over. But it takes time. You have to eat slower, maybe choose some baby greens like tender baby spinach or baby kale, little ones like they're tender, foraged wild if you want, if you have the ability to do that. And focus on smaller amounts. So if broccoli, for example, causes a lot of gas and bloating, don't start with a whole head of broccoli. Start with 1 or 2 florets for a week each day. Eat smaller amounts to grow these guys. Like as you feed them, they grow, but you need to feed them. So people who have gas or bloating in the beginning, it's likely because they're in a dysbiosis in their colon and they need to feed the good bacteria to help digest more and more and more raw food. So that's where a slower transition might be good for some people if they're having gas and bloating. But we do experience gas and bloating if we eat our meals and then we sit at the table for an hour or two after. Then yeah, you're gonna get gas and bloating no matter how perfect your diet is. If you are sitting and crunched like this for long periods after eating, it's not moving. Things aren't moving in there. You gotta get things moving so that everything can be digested properly. So if you find that you're having digestive issues, go for a walk, get things moving, to help with the digestion process. And I would also recommend try not to drink too much water or any liquids with your meals. Your meals should already be hydrating enough with high raw foods in there to help with the digestion. If you're eating a lot of dried foods and some fresh hydrating foods, that can cause a lot of gas and bloating as well because it's a competition for the water and for the digestion. So hope that helps. Let's see. I have another question. How do you guys think about a raw vegan pregnancy and raising a child on the same diet? That's a good question. If we had a kid, we would likely raise it raw. But we would always give it the option if it wanted to have or try any cooked foods, then definitely. Again, we're not against eating cooked food. If people want to eat cooked food, go for it. As long as it's, oil-free, vegan, healthy, whole food, plant-based kind of deal, like steamed veggies. Like, it's not the end of the world. But for some people who have food addictions, this can be gateway into other things. And you just have to watch that. Watch how you react to eating certain things. If you just eat a bowl of steamed broccoli and it's like, that was good, and you don't have it for another couple days or whatever, and you're not constantly thinking about it and you're not thinking of having other cooked foods, then keep it in your diet. I mean, it's really up to you and your level of addiction, I guess, is the best word I can use for that. But if we had kids, we would probably raise them high raw or all raw. Probably most days would be all raw, with a small amount of cooked food if they wanted it. I know a lot of women who have raw babies and they're healthy. The only thing is that if it doesn't matter if you're a kid, if you're an adult, if you're elderly, if you're a teen, if you don't eat enough food, then you're going to suffer deficiencies. And it's not raw food that's deficient, it's the amount of food that you're eating that's deficient. So people who get deficiencies or who lose way too much weight are likely not eating enough, and this can cause a lot of issues down the road. And that's why I'm pretty outspoken about making sure you eat enough, because it's the number one reason why people fall off or get issues on a raw diet. So fonio is an ancient grain from Africa. Very nutrient dense with lots of iron. That's pretty sweet. That's cool. If you want, I'm not sure, I'm not familiar with it. If it's a seed, because you know how some ancient grains are seeds, like amaranth, a millet, those are seeds. Quinoa is also a seed. You can soak those and sprout them because they're seeds, right? So you could probably do that. You need to do a little research and see if you can, which you probably can. Soak them, sprout them, and have those in a salad. If not, it's not the end of the world if you want to still consume a small amount in a big salad. That's how I would do it. If I was to eat cooked food, that's how I would do it. I would have a small amount of the cooked in a giant salad, but that doesn't work for me. Because if I had a small amount of cooked, the next day it would be twice the amount, then it would be all potatoes, and then it would be French fries. So, and potato chips. I've tried for 10 years to be raw and allowing a little cooked food here and there, and I couldn't do it. So, looks at those bananas. Nate, keep them coming. Oh, those bananas. Yeah, it's just freezing those up for more ice cream. Let's see here. I want it fully raw many times and have huge bloating and water retention every time. Tried cut out salt that I used a little, but nothing changed. Yeah, the bloating, is it bloating and water retention? Because you might need to do it slower, a slower transition over, and it can take a lot of time. If you have water retention issues, a lot of watermelon is really good. Parsley, dandelion, those are all natural food-based diuretics. So you could make salad dressing, you could add parsley to it. You could juice the parsley if you wanted to add it to a juice. Or again, as I mentioned, dressing. And watermelon. Watermelon too is a natural diuretic. So you can find natural food-based diuretics that you can add to your salads to help release any excess water that you're holding on to. And in salt, the salt balancing can take a long time. I remember there was a couple on YouTube called Banana TV, and 5 years ago I watched their salt experiment. And they were doing like a raw till 4 kind of deal, and they'd have rice for their evening meal, and they started adding the average amount of salt that a person eats normally in their rice. And at first they were like, it's so salty, ugh. But they got used to it. And then when the experiment was over, she had gained like, I don't even really remember how much it was, but it was like 20 or 25 pounds of water weight just by adding salt. That was it. All she added was salt. And then it took weeks after, I don't remember how long, but it was weeks after she eliminated the salt again to get back into balance and to lose all of that water retention. So Salt is very touchy one. We will use salt. We use salt in the form of miso or coconut aminos, and very rarely we will add a little bit of like a smoked salt to a specific dressing to get that smoky flavor. But yeah, it's pretty rare. I found that before I was using coconut aminos often, I would get really lightheaded if I didn't have any salt. So I would add a little bit of salt to my dressings. But we eat a lot of coconut aminos, so I'm getting the salt in from those.
Yeah, because it is important.
Yeah, salt is important. We need that balance. And I never used to eat a lot of celery. I did eat a lot of tomatoes, which have natural sodium in them, but celery is very high in the natural sodium, so not as many people need to supplement. But because I don't really, I mean, I like celery now, but I didn't really like it before, so I wasn't eating a lot of it. So I had to add salt somewhere. Happy Fur Baby Mother's Day. Thank you. Hi from Honduras. Hello, hello. Oh, let's see what else we've got in here. Oh, I think I lost my spot. Oh, here we go. Okay. Now I jump always between high raw with steamed veg in the evening and full raw. So want to make it work. It's hard when you can't eat regularly because of work. That is difficult. It's really sad that workplaces don't value the need for nutrition of their employees. Honestly, I think if I was running a business, I would make it mandatory to eat food that's healthy and eat in proper times, because your employees' effectiveness is really based on how they're eating, how much sleep they've had, all of those things. I think it's very important that employers give their employees time to eat properly. Love you. Love you too. Did your mom move back to Canada? Yes, she moved back to Canada in...
Yeah, when was that? It was February?
Yeah, I think it was February. She moved back. Yeah, I think so. Around there, January or February. She moved back. She's living in St. Albert right now in Alberta. So she's doing good as far as I know. She makes awesome little yarn holders for jars too. They're super cool.
Jar huggers.
Jar huggers. Yeah, they're really awesome. You're always so kind and sweet. Just wanted to say thank you. Aw, you're welcome. I try. I find that if I put too much liquid in the dressing, I feel bloated. Very interesting. Yeah, that's interesting too. Just like you're having a lot of water go in, especially on raw. We eat a lot of water. Our water comes from our food for the most part. And Lucy says she finds less water retention on the raw diet, likely because the sodium content is quite low. But yeah, everyone's bodies are so different.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah, we all react so differently. So it's really fine tuning the diet to your own personal needs. And we can all offer advice and we can say what it could be, what we might think it is, but everybody's going to be so different. So you just have to journal. Go for a week without salt. Go for 3 months without salt. Try and see how that goes. If you start to feel lightheaded though, it might, or test your blood pressure, because if you're feeling lightheaded, could be 2 reasons, main reasons. There's like 100 reasons why you could have lightheaded, but 2 main reasons is low blood pressure or not eating enough. If you're not eating enough, then you're going to feel lightheaded. If you are eating enough and you're feeling lightheaded, but you're not eating any salt, you might have low blood pressure. So get your blood pressure tested to see where you're at, and you might need to add a little bit of salt. Like we're talking 1/8 of a teaspoon, not a lot. How many bananas you got there?
A whole case, 40
A whole
pounds.
case, 40 pounds, which is approximately 85 bananas. I remember counting one time. So it's a lot of bananas, but that's a lot of ice cream. We eat a lot of ice cream over here. Thank you for your videos and inspiration. You're welcome. Let's see. Ooh, it keeps sending me down to the bottom here. Let's see. I'm just like you in the aspect of being raw, and now I'm back to cooked. Yeah, and again, everybody's going to be on their own journey. If you really feel good on raw, then eat raw. If you need a little bit of cooked, then add a little bit. Again, you just want to stay away from the processed foods, the oils, the excess salt, the refined sugar. You just stay away from that stuff and eat high raw. Eat a lot of raw. not just all cooked. Because if your plate is all cooked, that's going to be really heavy, hard to digest, dehydrating, that kind of thing. So split up with raw.
How fast your body switches from meal to meal.
Yeah. And also your gut flora can switch from meal to meal too. Like, they need their food. They are so important. Parsley sounds wise. Yes, parsley is really good. In my meal plan 3, I have a recipe for chimichurri, but I call it chimicurry because it's a chimichurri recipe with curry added. So that one's really good because it's all parsley. You could also make falafels, like the raw falafel burgers. You could add like a whole bunch of parsley to it and just make that. But yeah, adding it into your diet is a really good idea to help balance out the water retention. You may want to check on those kidneys as well for water retention. That's very true too, because your kidneys are the ones that are filtering through everything. And again, if you are not hydrated, then your kidneys can't filter. That's why water is so important. Drinking water and eating it from your food is so important. Avoid those dehydrated foods. Avoid as much cooked food as you can. Because what happens is, think of a coffee filter. If you just put ground coffees in the coffee filter without water, nothing's going to filter through. You need water to filter. Water is necessary for proper filtration. So if you want your liver, your kidneys, all your filtering organs, if you want them to work good, you got to hydrate. You have to hydrate. So very important. Let's see. Have you suffered from chronic bad breath? I did actually. I had some pretty nasty breath before I was raw. It was pretty bad all the time. It was constant. But I think that has a lot to do with many, many, many factors. The foods you're eating, the bacteria in your gut. Oh, and we've got Nate here showing off this beautiful...
I was just turning off the camera. Yeah, you guys want to see?
Yeah, check it out. Look at, oh my God, it smells so good.
Oh, yes.
Right, oh my gosh. That's awesome. Yeah. So for bad breath, it's a lot to do with your gut. Your gut digestion and the gut bacteria that you have is going to determine a lot of the issues with bad breath. So getting that in balance will really help. If you're having issues with certain scents like garlic or whatever. Me and Nate, we actually talked about this a couple months ago. We're like, do you smell garlic on me? Because we eat a lot of garlic. We eat cloves and cloves. Like, I'd say we could go through a whole bulb in one day between the two of us, between lunch and dinner. Easy, because we eat a lot of garlic. But we don't smell it on, I never smelled it on him, ever. The only thing I've ever smelt on him was kimchi. Because we eat a lot of kimchi too. But it's rare. It's very rare. Also, if you skip meals, then you'll likely have some bad breath going on there. So yeah, Candida, again, lower your fat percentage down. Stick with the lower glycemic fruits like berries, apples, tree fruits like nectarines and peaches if those are available to you. But stick with the berries. Like my hair, I gave myself a little bit of a trim today because there's no trimming people around, so I still need to work on that. But anyways, yeah. I'm so excited for summer, for watermelons. Doing a watermelon fast for a day usually helps me reset. Watermelon juice is really good, but I like to eat the watermelon just as is. I like to get the fiber in there, but watermelon, I'm excited for the honeydews. Oh man. The honeydews seem to be the best around September. That's when they're like perfect. What you doing now, Nate?
I'm gonna make some kale chips.
Kale chips! Yeah, we've got like these big giant bags of kale that need to be, something needs to be done with them. So we're just gonna make some kale chips and have those on the side. Again, don't want to eat too many of those dried foods. If you do, just have a small amount just for a little tiny snack because they do cause bloating, gas, smelly farts, that kind of thing. Just because the body just doesn't recognize it the same way it does real kale. Real live kale, I should say. Those aminos are killer for me. I used to use it often, but not any longer. Yeah, I used to do a lot of nutritional yeast as well, but I've since not been using very much. I probably use it maybe once a month, maybe twice a month, if that. But I've stopped using the nutritional yeast as well. I just joined, but can Nate give my Vitamix tips on ice cream? Mine gets bogged down.
Uh-oh, bogged down.
What are your top 3 tips for awesome ice cream?
Okay, top 3 tips. Maybe I can be, I don't know, where can you?
Right there, that's perfect. Here.
A 1/4 cup of liquid if you're using frozen bananas. It's definitely key. That could be water, coconut water, or say like a nut milk if you're into that sort of thing. Or
maple syrup.
Maple syrup, yeah. But a 1/4 cup of liquid first. That really helps. And then turn your Vitamix on, and then crank it up nice and slow so it doesn't get like an immediate hit to full power. You're ramping it up to full power, and have it on full power, and then just tamp kind of lightly. You don't have to force it down like really hard. Just tamp the 4 corners, then the middle, 4 corners, then the middle. About 3 or 4 times, it should just do its thing.
And how full do you fill the Vitamix? It's about halfway, isn't it?
The perfect ratio is 4 bananas. 4 bananas is good. Any more than that, it does get kind of hard on the machine. 5 bananas is pushing it. 5 whole bananas is pushing your machine. 3, it can do a little bit more. 4 just seems to be the magic number. Yeah, it works perfect every time.
And what if you wanted to add fruit to it?
Oh, I don't think you can do that. No fruit.
Yes! So would you do like 3 bananas and a cup of frozen?
Yeah, definitely. If you're doing fruit and you want to throw in, say you want to have like cherries and strawberries, or cherries and pineapple and banana, or whatever you want to use. Say if you're using 2 fruits, yeah, just make it to where really I don't go up over halfway. Halfway mark in the Vitamix blender is a good way to go. But see, another thing too is we have the skinny carafe, right? It's not the wide bottom. So it's about 30 ounces. About 30 ounces, or roughly 4 cups, or milliliters would be what? Maybe 800 milliliters. So as long as you're staying in that vicinity, your Vitamix should be able to work it.
Yeah. And if it shuts off, that's just the protection mechanism. Just let it thaw. Sometimes you can thaw the bananas too for a few minutes before you blend as well. That has helped me in the past. He doesn't it doesn't taste the same. He makes it so good. You make the best ice cream ever.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, let's see here. Let's get back here. Thank you guys for joining me. So awesome to see everybody in here. We've got 63 people. We got Diana, Deanna, Paula, Tiana,
That's a party.
Inolu, Alfine. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. Yeah, we've got so many people in here. Thank you so much. And yeah, just keep posting your questions because we'll stay on here while Nate's doing his thing. And I just love chatting with you guys. And it's been a while since I've done a live, so let's see. He's doing his time lapse for his day in a life video. So go follow him on YouTube if you haven't yet. Raw Natty Nate. He's got his May video a day for a month of May going up. His video's already up for today. I'm slacking. Hello from Norway. Awesome. Ooh, favorite Netflix binge. That's a good question.
Star Trek.
Star Trek. We are mega Star Trek fans, so definitely Star Trek. We've been really enjoying, what's that show?
That we watch with Jacob.
Midnight Gospel?
Midnight Gospel.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
For all of the esoteric kind of meditation, love-based, we're all one kind of stuff. It's really cool because it's basically a podcast, but they animate around the podcast. So most animations are like there's a script and they speak it and they animate based off the script. But this is a podcast that they've animated and the characters do all kinds of crazy stuff. It's like the Beatles, like Yellow Submarine style, like very interesting, very psychedelic. So if you like that kind of stuff, that's one that we've been watching that we really like.
Another one that we watched with Jacob for a minute. There was only so many episodes.
Yeah, there was Living with Myself or something.
Yeah. Well, that was with
Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd.
Yeah, and then what else was the other one? The girl who had the superpowers.
Yeah.
Can't remember the name of that one. That was good too. But yeah, Star Trek is our thing. Right now we're watching Voyager. We're on season 3. I got to get him caught up.
I never was into Star Trek. Growing up, it was in the crowd that I would run with. It was made fun of, so I steered clear because I did not want to be uncool. And then I come to find out how uncool I really was, and it didn't even really matter. So I started watching Star Trek. No, but Lissa has really caught me up.
Yeah.
With what's going on with Star Trek.
Yeah, we watched all of The Next Generation, and now we're doing Voyager, and then we'll do Deep Space Nine.
It's an amazing show.
It's good stuff. But yeah, Amelia. Hello, love.
Amelia.
So good to see you in here. You two are my favorite raw foodists. Thank you.
Thanks, Amelia.
Deanna bought 35 bananas today just for me. Awesome. Good stuff. That's how to do it. Look at those bananas for future ice cream. So good. Hi from the Netherlands. Ooh, here's a little tip for garlic. If you remove the middle stem part, that isn't so stringy anymore. Interesting. Interesting. That's cool. Another thing that we learned about garlic is that if you freeze it, it loses its antibacterial and anti-cancer properties because the allanase is gone when you freeze it. So freezing garlic is really just for flavor. If you have extra and you need it for flavor, freeze it. If not, if you want the anti-cancer properties and all of the good stuff, eat it raw. Cooking, I think, is still okay, but raw is best. Just saw honeydews this morning at Sprouts. Awesome. Yeah, they have honeydews at Costco, but they're not quite there yet. They're not quite at that, like, epic level. I had the best honeydew I ever had was at 4 a.m. on the way to Yosemite when we went to go get our wedding photos in October. And that was, like, by far, I always think about that moment. You always remember the best you ever had. Gosh, I miss kale. I can't find it in Germany. Oh, in the wintertime, yeah. You could try growing your own, too. That might be an alternative if you have space. If you could grow it in a pot, at least you could try.
Community gardens.
Yeah, community gardens, too. But in the winter, it's hard to do that.
Yeah, that's be inside.
May I ask about nutritional deficiencies? There are people who are doing it long term, but some people, like Sergey Butenko, are now saying it's better to eat meat and eggs. What do you think? I personally, because I'm an ethical vegan, will never eat animal products. Ever. That's just never going to happen. If I was to find any nutritional deficiencies, I would figure it out within veganism. If I had to go off raw, I would do it to help fix that before ever going to eat animal products. That's not even an option for me. Everything is available in the plant kingdom. That's what we believe. And because we are ethical vegans, it's just not going to happen. So I know there are people who've gone back to eating meat and eggs, but I question the amount of calories that certain people eat every day. I mean, we're not there to see it happen. And what are they eating, really? We're not there to see what's going on behind the scenes, behind closed doors, in the closets, all of that. Like, are they under eating? That's the number one reason why people go back to animal products, because they've under eaten for so long that yes, they get nutritional deficiencies. They're lacking that denseness because they're just not feeding themselves properly. And I'm not here to say that anyone's done it wrong, but this is something to look out for, that if you go too long without eating, if you go too long doing too many fasts, if you go too long skipping meals and doing all that kind of stuff, your body just is like super confused and you're not giving it enough. If you're eating under your BMR as well, that's dangerous. You can run into deficiencies later on as well. Your BMR is your basal metabolic rate. In other words, your bare minimum requirement. And a lot of, the little watches and MyFitnessPal and everything, they'll give you that, like, the bare minimum, whatever, it's like 1,500 calories or something like that. Depends on the individual. But we're told to eat that amount. but that amount is the bare minimum required for your heart, your lungs, your kidneys, your breathing, like everything, your brain at complete rest. At complete rest. That does it. So it's like your BMR is maybe, let's try and do this here, half, right? That's your BMR. This is like breathing, heart function, lung function, all of that kind of stuff. That doesn't include walking around, playing with your kids, going to work, all that kind of stuff. You have to eat more to compensate for that. And if you exercise, you have to eat even more. That's why 2,000 calories is a good average to aim for, because it's higher than your BMR. Your BMR is for bare minimum survival without doing anything. You're laying in bed all day. You're not even reading a book. Like, you're not using any extra energy other than what's necessary to keep you alive. So don't eat lower than your BMR. Please make sure that you eat more than that. So with time, if you are restricting over a long period of time on any diet, you're going to have issues. So that's, again, why we're so into the, like, making sure you guys eat. Let me take a quick break here and show you guys. We've got Raja. First it was Jai, and now it's Raja. Twin loves. Say hi, Raja. You see yourself on there? Raja King. They're awesome cats. They are so amazing, sweethearts. Let's see, what else do we got here? Thank you again for joining. It's awesome to have you here. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of questions. Whoa! Thank you, guys. Spinning the kale dry. That spinner is amazing. I love that thing. It's an OXO spinner, if you guys are wondering. Let's see. Hello from Rawdina from Israel. Follow you guys. Enjoy your journey. Awesome. Thank you. I use a lot of green powders, spirulina, that kind of thing. Yes, that's really cool. We have the Daily Green Boost, which is really good. Yes. What other option for coconut aminos can be done on a raw diet? That's a good question. If I was to replace the coconut aminos, I'd probably use miso. And we use the chickpea miso. That's a good option. But other than that, it's really difficult to get that flavor. But it really, if you really want to go bare basic, just salt water would work as well. Just adding a little bit of salt. It's that flavor, though. It's hard to get. If you can't do coconut aminos, you could do something like Bragg. Has some liquid aminos. Hey, meow meow. He's eating something over there. I've been raw for 4.5 months and just had some steamed kale and sweet potato, and it got super congested. Have you had that happen? I haven't personally, because I haven't tried any of that on here, but it could just be your body is kind of like, what is going on? You could be sensitive to the sweet potato perhaps, but again, they're not evil. It also depends what you had with them. If it was just plain without salt, no oil, but yeah, if you felt congested, then maybe skip out on that for a little while. I began with you some years ago and was fully vegan for 2 years, healed my body, lost weight from when you began, but fell off track. Aw, it's all good. You can get back on. Just pick yourself up and keep going. The slip-ups are just slip-ups. That's all they are. They're opportunities to learn. That's what a slip-up is. It's an opportunity to learn. Why did you slip up? What were the reasons? Were they stress-related? Were you bored? Were you tired? Did you have deficiencies? What was the root cause as to why you do the slip? And then from there, you can learn how to avoid it the next time. So it's really a learning opportunity. It's not something to be kicking yourself over. It's an opportunity to learn. So learn something about why you slipped. It's so important to always be improving instead of feeling like you're set back. because you're not set back. You did a fully vegan for 2 years. That's amazing. You shouldn't feel bad for that, but you can get back on track if you want to. And yeah, just learn from why. Really ask yourself why. What was the reason? And try to figure out how to avoid that next time. What do you think of Game Changers? Do you like it? Yeah, that's one of our favorite movies. Game Changers is a good one. Actually, Nate was working at a farm, and he got, how many people? Like 7?
Yeah, there was 8
8 people to go vegan at the farm just by being a good example. All he did was eat his fruit, eat his salads, and people would start asking, be like, Nate, you eat like so healthy. And finally, after time, he was showing them how to do it and everything, and told them to watch Game Changers. And then once one person did, everybody else started doing it, and then everyone was vegan all of a sudden. So you can make a difference just by being yourself and being the example.
Well, what was cool was it was actually the boss, the owner of the farm who went first.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so everybody, it's a little easier to follow when the boss does it. Any suggestions on substitutes for avocados? I'm allergic to them, but it seems like a lot of recipes call for avocados for a creamy texture. You could actually just use soaked sunflower seeds if you want. Yeah. The thing is with avocado, I was sensitive to avocado for the first 3 years of my raw journey. I think I had 4 in the entire 3 years that I was raw. So not very many of my recipes have avocado. Maybe in the meal plan 3, there's a few more, maybe 6 out of the 90 recipes have avocado in them, but you could just replace with soaked sunflower seeds. It's not the same. It's not going to be the same. You could use young Thai coconut would be another option. Maybe durian might work. But again, you're going to have a completely different flavor. It's not going to taste the same. But as for texture, just something on the fattier side, could work. But yeah, just skip those ones. If you have a sensitivity to avocados, avocados are so unique. They're really hard to replace those ones. But again, yeah, a lot of my recipes don't have avocados because the first 3 years I didn't eat any of them because I had a bad sensitivity to them. I actually would feel like I had taken a sleeping pill if I ate them. I would just want to take a nap after eating. But I worked with my homeopathic doctor on releasing the allergy to them, and now I can eat them just fine. As long as I stick to a half is pretty good. If I eat a whole or more, then I can feel it for sure. I feel just tired. Not the way I did before though, so. Soaked cashews or tahini, being mindful of the high fat. Yep, that's a really good alternative too. I heard you need to cut the garlic and let it sit for 10 minutes to make the stuff inside work. Well, once you cut it and you ingest it, it should be fine within 10 minutes. Normally, by the time you blend it in the blender and pour it on your salad, it's been 10 minutes, so that's going to be good. Probably, I would say that would work only if you're cooking the garlic. If you're going to be applying heat to it, you want the allanase to activate, just like broccoli. Broccoli is the same. If you're going to cook your broccoli, you want to chop it up really well first, let it sit for 45 minutes, because that's how long it takes for the, I can't remember the name of the enzyme, myrosinase to activate with the sulforaphane precursor to create sulforaphane, which is the active anti-cancer property of broccoli. If you just take the broccoli and throw it in the pan, you're not going to get that benefit. You have to chop it and let it sit for 45 minutes before you cook it, because cooking damages the enzyme that is necessary for that conversion. But if you're eating it raw, you don't have to worry about waiting at all, because it happens in your body. So that's where, that's a very interesting thing. Hello from Greece. Hello. You guys got to watch the movie Rebecca, the 1940s movie with Laurence Olivier and I think Olivia de Havilland. She's still alive, by the way. She's over 100 years old. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I used to be addicted to those old radio shows. I've listened to every episode of Lux Radio Theater and The Shadow Knows. I had a phase of my life where that's all I listened to. So I love those old movies. It's so cool. Let's see. Sorry, I must go foraging stinging nettles before it's completely dark. Have fun. Oh yeah, from France. It's late over there. Have fun foraging your stinging nettles. That's pretty cool. Thank you. What's for dinner tonight? Ooh, Nate, will you share what's for dinner?
Ice cream.
No, really, what are we having for dinner?
We were thinking about this earlier, and what were we thinking? We were thinking
cauliflower.
Oh yes, Caesar salad with buffalo cauliflower wings.
Yes, we're gonna use Chris Kendall's buffalo sauce recipe. We're gonna make some buffalo bites. We'll just coat them in the sauce and put them in the dehydrator and have those along with a Caesar salad. So that's going to be really delicious. And for lunch, we're probably just going to have another fat-free, maybe Moroccan lime. I don't know. We have a lot of limes we need to use, so. Yeah. Moroccan lime from Meal Plan 3. Let's see. So glad you explained the BMR. I was recently Googling how many calories I should have, and it was like 1,500. I was shocked at how low it is. Yeah, that's the thing. Most dieting advice is telling you to eat your BMR, but your BMR is your bare minimum requirement, and we need more. Yeah, at complete rest. And they test your BMR after 12 hours of fasting, so there's nothing digesting in your body. You're expending the very bare minimum amount of energy possible. So that BMR, that's your bare minimum to survive. If you eat underneath that, your body's going to eat itself to function, just because your heart needs to pump. And if you're under eating over the long period of time, that's when your body, you lose muscle mass. Yes, you can lose weight. Obviously, that's why people eat low, because their body actually eats itself. So the best way to do it, if you want to get into a calorie deficit, don't decrease your calories, increase your exercise. And obviously eat low fat, because the low fat is like on point. If you want to lose weight, lower that fat percentage and increase that exercise, and you're good to go. My dietitian told me to eat 1,200 calories to lose weight.
Horrible.
That's so low. That is so low. I'm just heartbroken for everybody who is following things that the dietitians say. And they're not trying to make you sick. This is stuff that they've been taught, and they believe it. So the problem is that this amount of calories is not enough to give you the nutrition that you need. And over the long period of time, it could be a month, it could be 2 or 3 months, you're going to end up binging and gaining the weight back, just because you cannot go long. It's like an elastic. If you go far enough, you're going to snap back and you're going to binge, and it's just not ideal to eat that low. Just try to aim for 2,000 calories, and to get into that calorie deficit, increase your exercise and decrease your fat percentage. Try to aim for 10% of your calories coming from fats. Are sprouts necessary to be eaten every day in a raw vegan diet? We believe that sprouts are a very, very important part of a raw vegan diet. And I'm actually starting to believe now, not that I didn't believe it before, but I'm really solidified in my belief that we need sprouts pretty much every day. Sprouts are so vitally important. They're packed with nutrition. They're loaded with protein. If you want a protein powder, or you need more protein because you're working out, just eat more sprouts. Eat a cup or 2 of sprouts. You can add them to smoothies. You can make raw burgers with them. You can add them to sauces or dressings or soups or whatever you want. Or just sprinkle them on your salad, or just eat them like a snack. Sprouts are so good, and they're so easy to make. They're very inexpensive. And yeah, especially for survival prepping purposes, you could just have bags and bags and bags of seeds, lentil sprouts or lentil seeds, and broccoli, radish, fenugreek. Those are really good ones to start out with and have lots of. Broccoli sprouts have the highest amount of sulforaphane in them, so those are really good to add to your salads as well. But yeah, sprouts definitely part of a healthy, balanced raw diet. Plus, they are high in starch, so really good for those who are looking for a little extra energy if you're working out a lot. The Raw Truth. Hello, darling. She says hi to Lissa and Nate from Canada Vegan Fest. We met her there. You're so beautiful inside and out. Appreciate you so much during this time. Oh, thank you so much. We are trying really hard to put out a lot of content for you guys and connect with you guys because we know how lonely some of you might be and you might need that inspiration because this is a really heavy time for a lot of people. So we want to try and be as positive as we can. Big hugs, big virtual hugs to everybody. Does metabolism cool down by eating a raw diet? Here in the UK, it's just cold to eat raw. Interesting comment. Actually, your metabolism downregulates when you undereat. So if you are not eating enough, then your body's going to try to conserve energy by not burning it. You want to burn your energy. It's like a coal furnace in your body. You want to fuel it by eating food. So if you can increase the amount of food that you're eating, then you will burn more. Obviously, sticking to low fat because you want to actually use the sugar that you're eating. But also, just don't eat things right out of the fridge. Keep things on the counter. Like we've got all of our tomatoes and we've got our cucumbers behind Nate. A lot of our food stays on the counter to stay at room temperature. There's nothing that I dislike more than having a cold salad. I don't like eating cold salads because I feel cold. If you want to warm up your lettuce, you could soak it in warmer water to bring it down to a room temperature. But yeah, keep a lot of your produce on the counter so that you're not eating ice cold tomatoes with ice cold cucumber and ice cold bell peppers with an ice cold dressing that you made earlier today that's in the fridge still. Like it's going to be a freezing cold salad and you're going to feel cold. So room temperature, you can use your Vitamix or your dehydrator to warm stuff up. Try to eat at room temperature and it's a lot better. Plus make sure that you eat enough. You can also start eating some spices like cayenne pepper, chipotle. Rosemary is really good for increasing circulation. Any of those circulating enhancing herbs can really help. I did raw 5 years in Canada. And in Canada, where I was living, it can get down to -40. So it's pretty cold and it snowed close to Edmonton a couple days ago. My dad sent me a picture of the snow. And it's like mid-May. So yeah, it's cold in Canada and I managed to do it, but because I didn't eat things right out of the fridge and I made sure that I was eating enough, because I noticed when I would do the calorie restrictive stuff back in the day before I learned that I needed to eat enough, I would always be cold. I'd be freezing because I wasn't giving my body the energy that it needed to burn. So yeah, body temperature definitely. And always, snuggle up, get some clothes on, like extra clothes, I mean, get the furnace going, whatever you need to do to warm up. Why do I feel so tired every time I try to eat raw vegan? I feel very sleepy. That's a great question. I would really need to know what you're eating exactly, because if you're eating higher fat, that's going to cause tiredness. If you're not eating enough, that's going to cause tiredness. That's like the number one symptom of undereating that a lot of people will just brush off as detox. They'll be like, oh, you're tired because you're detoxing. But for the majority of people, they're not eating enough. So their body doesn't have the energy to continue on during the day. And you're just going to be like, I'm so tired because you're not eating enough. You need to give your body the fuel so that you can have energy and go for 5K runs.
Then the raw vegan gets a bad rap.
Yeah, and then the raw vegans get a bad rap because we're not eating enough. But that's like, seriously, guys, that's the number one reason why people fall off a vegan diet is because they're not eating enough. Yep, eat enough. Woo!
I couldn't find that in your music.
Siri, you're so silly. Let's see, where do I have here? Trying to duplicate Panera Bread's salsa verde, except it has yogurt in it. I'm allergic to soy. Any suggestions? Soak some cashews. This is for Earthy Bike, if you're still here. Soak some cashews for about 5 hours in the Vitamix. Do you want to use the blender?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can finish that.
Okay, soak your cashews for 5 hours. Blend them with a little bit of apple cider vinegar and lemon juice. and just a small, like a half teaspoon apple cider vinegar and maybe the juice of 1 lemon. Blend that with your cashews, and then you've got some yogurt. So you could add that to the salsa. You don't need to use soy or anything, but you can use cashews. And if you can't use cashews, you could try using sunflower seeds. It's going to change the taste, but that's another option as well. So Nate's going to use the Vitamix, and I'm going to scroll through these and check out for more questions. Thank you. Awesome. What are you making, Nate? What dressing are you making for the kale chips?
This is the spicy ginger almond in the plant-based dips and dressings book.
Ooh, spicy ginger almond. That's one of our favorites for kale chips, but the other favorite is the dill pickly. Oh, it's so
we'll
good.
Make that for the next batch.
Nice. Dill pickly. Gotta soak those cashews for that one.
Yeah.
Are you able to drive yet? No, I haven't taken my test yet, but I can actually drive here anyways with my Alberta license, so that's cool. I live to eat raw. However, every time it gets cold outside, I automatically craving porridge and warm soups. Do you not get this feeling? Your amazing vibes. Oh, thank you, Dana. If you really feel like having the cooked, then you can. But if you really want to be raw, just like I had mentioned earlier, don't eat things right out of the fridge. You can make raw soups in the Vitamix. If you blend it on high for 2 minutes, it actually warms it up. So last night we had, or 2 nights ago, we had the raw Spaghettios, and I just blend the sauce for about 2 minutes and it warms it up quite nicely. You could make warm applesauce that way. 2 minutes on high, again, just to get it that warm. And you can also use the dehydrator. Throw stuff in the dehydrator, warm it up a little bit if you want. But I don't crave warm food at all. It's been so long, and just the thought of eating something hot or like piping hot just is like, I don't want to. I never really cared for hot food either. That's just me though. I know everyone's different. We have different connections with our food. Sometimes that warmth is more comforting, but it's not necessarily the warmth. It's also the dopamine hit that we get from eating those dense foods. So there are a lot of factors that come into play with that. But it really is, it ends up your own choice, whatever you want to do. What do you recommend for people with lung issues? I'd really have to dive into what kind of lung issues and what's going on, what kind of symptoms, that kind of thing. It's too broad range, but with lung, again, like I don't know if it's an infection or if it's damaged lungs from smoking. There are so many things, but what's one of those ones? Shoot, I'm gonna have to think about it. I can't remember. So bad. I used to work in a health food store and we sold a lot of stuff, huh?
Not COPD.
No. I was thinking of a supplement.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it was. Alpha lipoic acid, maybe, was one. And then an enzyme that made an antioxidant. Dismutase, maybe. I used to work in a health food store, and it's been a really long time since I've talked about a lot of some of those other supplements that you can take. But there are some lung supplements on the market. But again, I'd need to have way more details to be able to talk about that one. Plus, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. These are just my own things that I've learned over the years. Much appreciated your continued warmth, kindness, and generosity in sharing your knowledge on this path. Thank you so much. I'm glad you guys enjoy and you resonate with the message and you're open to hearing the stuff I have to say. It's great. Again, take what you want with a grain of salt and focus on healing yourself. Did you have problems removing cocoa powder, maybe raw chocolate from your diet? I have an addiction. I still do cacao. I find raw chocolate, like the actual chocolate, gives me heart palpitations. I can't do like the raw chocolate hearts. I'll still eat them, but I suffer from it's like a heart flutter whenever I eat raw chocolate. But the raw cacao powder, I don't have any reaction to. It does keep me up late at night if I do cacao in my ice cream at night. But otherwise, in the morning, I like to add it to my smoothies. If you can't, maybe switch to carob. that might be an option for you as well. Otherwise, you could always just consider it a discontinued product, like it's not available anymore, and just move on and just enjoy the memories of the good cacao that you had and just move on to something else. But there is alternatives. A carob might be an option for you at that point. Eat enough. Yes, eat enough. Thank you for the responses. You're very welcome. I love doing these lives. Do you have any tips for getting rid of salt addiction? I can't seem to give it up completely. Just wean yourself off slower throughout the weeks, but it's going to take a long time if you do like a slower transition. If you do cut it out completely, you could stick with things that are a little saltier, like celery, tomatoes, miso paste. You could do coconut aminos or have salt in them as well, but instead just try to avoid adding salt to anything. And it's a hard one because salt is very addictive. But as you wean off, as you get lower on there, or if you go weeks without salt, then when you do add salt back, it's very, very intense. It's not as pleasurable as when you're already eating a lot. Cacao powder bad? Well, cacao powder isn't bad necessarily, but a lot of people do seem to react to it. Again, raw chocolate gives me the heart palpitations, and there's the theobromine in it, which is like caffeine, so it can keep you up. It can irritate people. It can cause anxiety in some people. Not everyone reacts to it though, so it really depends on you and your body and how you react. I made a cashew dip with about a quarter cup of cashews and made a full cup. Only need a few tablespoons for my pasta. How do you calculate that in Chronometer? Well, if you made a quarter cup of cashews and it made a full cup, and then you divided that by a few tablespoons, maybe it would really depend on how much that is. A few tablespoons, if that's 3 tablespoons, or if it's a quarter cup of a cup, then it would be a quarter of the quarter cup of cashews. So probably a tablespoon worth of cashews. That's what I would enter into Chronometer, a tablespoon of cashews. Are the boys homeschooling? Yes, they are right now. Jonah is homeschooling through the university because he's in university or college right now. So he's doing his work through classes online, and as is Jacob. Their schools are closed down, so they have to do everything online, which is pretty cool. They're home for that. I don't have a Vitamix or a dehydrator. Well, if you have a blender, I don't know if your blender is high speed or not. If you have a blender, blending it on high speed might work, or just make sure that your ingredients don't come right out of the fridge. Maybe let them sit on the counter overnight to get back to the room temperature so you're not using cold ingredients out of the fridge. Thank you for answering my questions. You're so lovely. You're both so lovely. Sending love. Take care. I love you. Thank you so much for joining. Clear lungs. Let's see. My issue is Sjogren's syndrome. Yeah, that would be, I would need a lot more research on that one. I'm not familiar with it, so I don't want to give advice on something that I'm not familiar with. That's unfortunately something we could talk maybe in DM after I did a little bit of research, but I hope you find a solution to your lung issues. What are the chances of being successfully raw without the equipment? You can totally be successfully raw without any equipment except a knife and a cutting board.
No, so you need one of those, right?
Yeah, you don't even need one of those. You can rip your lettuce, you can eat the tomatoes whole, you can eat all your fruit whole, you don't even need to blend it. Dressings would be a little tougher, but you could just use
Magic Bullet.
Magic Bullet. Like you could get a cheap blender.
These Vitamixes though, I felt the same way. I was like, I don't want to drop $500 on a blender, but they have them to where you can just make payments, $50 a month, and it is so worth it. It is just a game changer, you guys.
Yeah, but it is possible to do it without any equipment. It's just going to be very simple, and you're going to need to eat your greens if you don't have anything to blend your dressing. You could mash it. You could mash it in like a mortar pestle. It's just not going to be the same, but it is definitely possible. You don't need to, like, I mean, it's interesting, like, can you be successfully cooked vegan without a stove? Right? You'd have to make a campfire every night if you wanted to cook your food. But we do tend to need some forms of equipment to process our foods or to create things, but it is definitely possible to just eat food the way nature intended. We just like to create stuff with it, and it's fun. I'm on my 6-day raw diet and my skin got worse. Is that normal? Oh no, that sucks. It really depends on, I'd have to know what you're eating, how much you're eating, what your diet was beforehand. It could just be a reaction or something, like there's so many things that it could be, but I would just say keep going, make sure you eat enough, make sure you cleanse the skin properly, keep that going, and hydrate. Lemon water first thing in the morning is really good for skin issues because your liver is detoxing a lot of the toxins, and if your liver is plugged up, then it can come through your skin. So milk thistle, herbal, if you want to help with your liver, and lemon water in the morning, that might be a great addition while you're going through this transition. What happened to Ted being a fruitarian, now eating cooked food? That's Ted's thing. Ted is awesome. He's a great friend and he's a great individual. I don't judge anyone based off if they're fully raw or not. He's eating cooked food because at this point in his life, he's trying to see where his body goes with the cooked food. He is still pro raw. He thinks it's still the best. He's just experimenting with himself right now and seeing where he goes with the cooked food. And he's not eating like junk food. He's eating, he has had the chips and stuff, like the corn chips, but for the most part, he's eating just whole food, plant-based, and still eating a lot of raw foods and stuff. But yeah, that's Ted's deal. We still work with Ted for the retreat. Actually, we are going to do a webinar on Thursday night talking about retreat stuff because we had to cancel our June retreat because of COVID. So we're not going to be doing that, but we're going to be instead doing this really cool 5-day content creator challenge thing where we're going to be online with everybody for 5 days straight, doing Instagram growth, content creating, getting specific on your goals if you're trying to do this as a business. And then we're going to offer the course, like everything that we would teach at the retreat is going to be in a course that you can take online. So, but the 5-day challenge is going to be all free. So we'll work with you there. And if you want to continue with it, you can get that course after. So that's exciting. We're going to be doing that. Fun. Let's see. Love you and Nate. Jen, greatly appreciate all your videos to help me transition from sad diet. Oh, so glad that you're making good choices. All of you, I'm so glad you're making good choices because I'm glad you guys are all here listening and opening your hearts and making those positive choices. You are so powerful and wonderful and compassionate, and thank you for making good choices. Thank you for taking care of your bodies. Our bodies are like, they're priceless. Like, I don't even have words. Like I treated my body like crap for 34 years. I ate junk, and some days I would eat healthy, right? You have your salad with your chicken in it and stuff, but I for the most part ate a lot of junk and treated my body with disrespect in the name of self-love, trying until I actually started treating my body with respect. And it's difficult because we want that self-love and we want to be like, well, I deserve to have the pizza and I deserve to have this, but it's not. It's disguised as self-love. We feel like that's loving to ourselves by eating these things, but it's not. It's not food. You can have raw pizza or even a whole food plant-based pizza that's low in fat if you want. But yeah, I don't think that eating the junk food or even eating the junk food to be okay with the junk food is a good idea because it's all the same. It's just not food. So yeah, I kind of went on
Just not food.
a tangent there. Coconut Aminos, actually, there's a swap for Coconut Aminos that are raw. Coconut Aminos actually used to be raw in the past, but the problem was when they first released it to the market, I was working at the health food store and it was a new product. We were all excited about it because it was raw, but the problem was because it was raw, the fermentation continued after shipping and we would get bottles busted. Like 8 out of the 12 bottles in a case would be broken and busted and Coconut Aminos everywhere. So they actually had to they ferment it first, so it's raw, and then they heat it to stop the fermentation process before bottling, so it doesn't burst the bottles. Otherwise, you'd have coconut aminos everywhere, all over the place. So it's not raw, but yeah, it's tough to replace that one. Just a little bit of salt, maybe celery. It's just not going to taste the same though. Let's see, we've got some more questions. So many have their own path and journey and challenges and committing to whatever life paths. Best to focus on being our best selves. That's so true. Yeah, we just have to focus on what is best for us, but while all the time making sure that you eat enough and making sure that you don't eat the junk food. We all know what's bad for us. We don't need to be told. Sending so much love. Thank you for answering all my questions and clearing a bit of the fog from my brain. Aw, thank you. So glad that I could help. Let's see what else. I have so many apples, lemons, grapes, and carrots. What do you recommend I do for a 1 day's meal plan? Let's see. Well, you need some greens in there. If you can get some greens, the grapes and apples and lemons, you could make like an apple grape smoothie. But as for that, you're going to need a lot more food than that because that's just not enough. It really depends. You need variety. You need greens. If you can grab some sprouts, make some salads. You could make an apple lemon dressing with sage and rosemary and dates. But you do need a lot more calories. That doesn't seem like it's going to be enough. So you can definitely incorporate that into a healthy day. But yeah, how many calories would be in 8 apples? About 800. There's about 100 calories per apple, but it's really tough to eat 8 apples because they are so high in fiber. So 8 apples would be a lot. And do you guys have any experience eating raw cannabis? Interesting question. I have eaten raw cannabis, the little seeds and stuff. It kind of tastes like dried oregano. And we have joked about sprinkling a little bit on our raw pizza to get it a little bit of a flavor, but it doesn't, you don't get any like crazy highs off eating just a little bit. I haven't noticed, but we do have friends that are CBD farmers, and they want to start infusing some CBD oil, but like concentrate, not oil form, but into raw dishes. So that might be coming down the road. Stay tuned on that one. Lissa, all your journey inspired me. So you have no idea how good and delicious to be raw, following your recipes. Love them all. Meal plan 3, which should I buy number 1 or 2? Which one? I would recommend number 2 because it's got the ramen recipe, which is my absolute favorite recipe. We had it last night for dinner. Love the ramen. And that one also has the raw vegan omelet made with young Thai coconut, and it's got the ginger belief, which is like a ginger beef, like Asian Chinese stir fry kind of deal. So meal plan 2 would be the one that I would choose. Thanks so much for answering my questions. Nice having Nate in the background. It's 10 p.m. in South Africa. Wishing you the best. Have a great sleep. Lots of kisses. I've just worked out my BMR. Thanks for everyone's advice. I'm definitely not eating enough. I work shifts and we don't always get breaks. So smoothies, juice with avocados saved me so many times. Yeah, smoothies. Smoothies help so much. And make sure that when you're doing the fats, try to eat them in maybe like a green smoothie. I'm going to actually write a book called Savory Soups and Smoothies. So it's going to be savory soups and smoothies for those that want like a more savory thing, like V8 style, a lot of soups in there, some really interesting flavors that we'll come up with for that. Spicy ones. Yeah, it's going to be fun. That one's, I still have to work on the burger book and the journey book. We have to finish an ice cream book. We've got a lot of stuff on the go. But yeah, so I've tried white miso and really do not like it. Does a chickpea miso taste differently? Yeah. The chickpea miso does. I really like the chickpea one. That's my favorite. Do you have can you grab the container so we can show them?
It's a trick too because when it's mixed in, you wouldn't think that you would be able to tell the difference, but you can.
You can, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I just had to smell it.
This is the miso that we have. The chickpea. Miso Master Organic. Soy-free miso made with chickpeas. It's the best. And we have, like when they're out of stock of that one, we do sometimes get the other one, but it's not the same. We like that one better. So Green smoothies, yeah. Live for the cauliflower recipe.
Ooh.
Possibly. It's going to
Yeah.
be a two-parter because we have to do the sauce, which is Chris Kendall's sauce,
And then dehydrate it.
and then dehydrate it. So I'm not sure
It's
we'll
actually
do it
only
live,
one
but
part when you think about it, because you
True.
just have to make the sauce and then throw it in the dehydrator.
yeah, true, exactly, and then it's finished after. But yeah, so we've got no questions. Anybody else have any questions before we go? You can type them in. Last chance. Last chance.
Oh, so
Your dips and dressings are so good. Looking forward to the soups book. Yes,
Mm.
and we're working on a burger book as well. For those of you who like the burgers, we're going to have some fattier burgers. We're going to have some low-fat burgers. Lots of different sauces you can put on the burgers.
Yeah.
Different ways to wrap the
Those
burgers.
are going to be good.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun book to work on. So that's coming next. And also the ice cream book.
Yeah,
From
still-
this one, the
still
nice...
Working.
Wait,
Still working
wait.
on it. I know. You guys, it's coming.
Nice cream
It's gotta
king.
You saw those bananas I just froze. We got to use those for more pictures, see?
Yeah, we got to get more pictures.
Because it's a picture book.
Hmm.
That's what makes your dressings book is so awesome, or the meal plan book, is because you have the meal to look at and go, oh, that's the way it should
Mhm.
look. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm into it.
Totally. Ooh, okay, this is a good question. What would be the two worst foods to combine on raw?
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's a good one. I would say watermelon and cashews.
Oh, man.
What would you say?
I would have to say putting peanut butter or almond butter
Your
in
nice
your nice
cream.
cream.
Yeah, so basically, the rule of thumb is to keep your fats away from your sweet fruits.
Yeah.
The only fruit that really goes with fats to an extent is dates. And they have to be in a
Yeah.
dressing on your salad with lots of
See,
fiber.
now yours, cashews and watermelons, doesn't seem like it'd be
No.
too desirable to go.
Well, you know, there's those people who have like watermelon salads and they put like feta cheese in it.
Right.
I've seen that so many
Okay,
times. I'm like,
okay.
that would suck.
I
I'd
can
be
see
so
that.
bloated. Yeah. Or if you made cashew feta,
Oh,
you
yeah.
put it in a watermelon salad, it would
But
work.
don't put nut butter in your nice cream.
No, if you want to gain fat, you
If
could.
you want to gain weight, put nut butter in your nice cream. Mix with maple syrup.
Oh my gosh, yeah, fat and sugar do not mix.
Deadly combo. Well, they mix
No,
beautifully.
yeah, they taste good,
They
but
mix beautifully. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean that. That's not the 666.
no, I know we're like, yeah, no.
They mix so well, but it's not good.
Oh man, we have so much fun with you guys. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you for doing this live chat. We are having a blast. Nate is actually going to do a YouTube live on his channel on Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday, guys.
This Saturday. So what time do you want to do it?
I don't know.
Noon?
Yeah, noon's probably good.
Yeah, noon Pacific Standard Time or 3 p.m. Eastern. He will be live on his YouTube channel Saturday.
Yay, it'll be my first one.
Yay! I'm going to teach him how to do the live stream and everything. So if you guys want to hang in with him for that, it's going to be Saturday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. Lissa, I was waiting for maybe 6 months raw food, follow your plan, but a lot of bloating. What to do? You could, again, the same ones, like don't sit long hours after eating your food. Get up and go for a walk. Make sure you chew your food really well. Make sure, maybe take some probiotics or enzymes to help your gut out.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
really it does take a while. With 6 months, you'd think that you'd be good to go. But, you know, sometimes the two of us, we still get bloating and gassy too. Sometimes.
Most of the time, I experience that when we've been sitting a long period of time after eating.
Long period of time, or like a good heavy cashew-based dressing or cheese, a cashew-based cheese.
Yeah, those are going to do it.
Horrible.
Yeah, but otherwise, like, if you're doing low fat and you're sticking with, like, the no nuts, so that's why I wrote Meal Plan 3 with no nuts, for people that have issues with nuts. Meal Plan Volume 3 has no nuts. It's just seeds, avocado, and young Thai coconut, so it's a good one for those who need that. But stick with the young, tender, leafy greens, stay away from the really heavy stuff, and just work your way up taking the probiotics, working on healing your gut, because that's really a sign of gut dysbiosis. Thanks for the chickpea miso advice. Real quick, what's the purpose of adding miso? Flavor, really, and it's a fermented food, so it's got some good bacteria in there, but we don't use it for that. We use it mainly for the flavor.
Yeah, that flavor, so good. Whoa, you guys, look, I found a rock in this lettuce.
Oh, that's why you gotta wash it.
Listen.
Oh, wow. Oh, could you pass me the Norwex wash? I think it's under
The actual wash?
Yeah, the wash. Yeah,
it's
you're
right
gonna
behind
show.
you, isn't it? In that spray bottle?
Oh, yeah.
Or there's this one.
I've got this one. Yeah, so this is what we've been washing our produce with lately. It's the Norwex Fresh Produce Wash.
It smells pretty good.
It's really good. We add it to our water.
Well, it's not like you can tell at all, actually. Right?
Well, yeah, it's just easier, and the water is really gross after, so...
Yeah, it's easier, and it's also interesting, too, when you see, like, a study done or a test done, because that's really what sold us on it. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, all right, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's the one we use. You can use baking soda or vinegar. I just don't like... The baking soda doesn't really mix well with the water necessarily all the time, and the vinegar, I hate the smell of vinegar, especially washing my produce, so that's why I like the Norwex one. Let's see here. What else do we got? Do you do one-on-one coaching? I do one-on-one coaching, $75 US an hour. And if you want to do that, you can go to payhip.com/rawfoodromance. I'm actually going to type it in here. payhip.com/rawfoodromance. So that is my website. And on the website, all of my ebooks right now are 40% off. So if any of you guys were interested in grabbing any of the meal plans or the dips and dressings book or any of that kind of good stuff, the ebooks are 40% off. Use code 40% off. Code is Immunity2020, and I wrote that in the chat. So if you guys want, go grab that. And the coaching is on there, but don't use the code for the coaching because it doesn't apply to that. So yes, I do coaching. Can you do live coaching? Yes, we would do live coaching, Skype, one-on-one. And I'm thinking of maybe doing group coaching at some point, but right now I'm just working on too much to put that in. But yes, I do the one-on-one coaching. Thank you, so helpful. I'm glad that you enjoyed. Can't wait for the ice cream book. Yeah, we can't wait to get that out for you guys too. Oh my gosh. How did you stop putting up excuses? What affirmations did you say? Oh, good one. Yeah, the excuses are they're just justifications to continue doing things you already know you shouldn't be doing.
I would just say, I'm a raw vegan today.
Yeah, really just focus one day at a time. Focus on today. What are you going to have for, it depends on where you are right now, lunch and dinner. What are you going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And just focus one day at a time. Makes it so much easier.
But wait, it's Susie's birthday.
But you're a raw vegan today. You're choosing healthy foods today.
But they brought in fresh cupcakes. It's Susie's birthday.
Oh, that's funny. I know it's so hard. But you know what? It's always going to be someone's birthday. It's always going to be some holiday. Always going to be some food.
I'm a raw vegan today.
Yep. Thanks. I'm choosing healthy today. I don't want it. I choose. You choose. The food isn't in control of you. A lot of people say I can't have this, I can't have that, I can't have this, and they feel like they're in this restrictive bubble. But if you just break through and be like, I choose not to have that. Yeah. I choose to be able to live without cheese. I choose not to eat bread. You feel so much more in control. Stand in the power poses if you have to. Take up all the room and be like, I choose to put healthy foods into my body because I love myself. And it really changes your attitude. Just stand tall and be like, I make the choice. I'm in charge. So I hope that helps. I'm actually writing an ebook right now called Checkmate Your Cravings, and I have a whole list of excuses and what to say, or what I would say to refute them. Do you guys ever have any dental challenges eating so many sweet foods and dates? We talked about this earlier on in the live. Rinse your mouth out really well with water after. Brush your teeth about an hour hour away from food if you're gonna brush your teeth, but rinse.
You know what, a really good thing to get, you guys, is a water pick. This isn't a water pick, but it's like one of these things, and and you get all the water out from in between your teeth, kind of like flossing, but way easier than flossing. And that's where stuff starts to happen. Stuff starts to cram in those cracks of your teeth. The acidity, the bacteria, the whole microbial life form. That's what this is right here. There's microbial life form happening in there. And there you go. That's where dental issues happen. So it doesn't matter, like you were saying earlier, it doesn't matter what you eat.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you eat. We're all going to have issues if we don't take care of our teeth. So rinse your mouth out. There are a lot of primates that eat a lot of fruit that will actually eat greens after to help realkalize their mouth, because it's the sugar that feeds the bacteria. The bacteria produce a byproduct that erodes our teeth. So it's not the sugar directly, it's indirectly through, it's food for the bacteria. So you want to get rid of the sugar and get rid of that bacteria. So you can eat sweet food and sweet fruits and be good. Just make sure that you clean out your mouth. And don't use glycerin in your toothpaste.
That sounds pretty funny when you say clean out your mouth, because I can picture like some like you like your grandma or your great aunt going, go wash your mouth.
Go wash your mouth out.
Go wash your mouth out.
Thank you for taking the time to answer our questions. You're very welcome. Stay safe, stay happy. Always, we try to be happy all the time. There are some rough days. We've had a couple rough days. It's just really heavy sometimes with everything that's going on.
I know all you guys know.
Yeah, it's just heavy sometimes, but just trying to stay positive and focus on today, because today's the only day that matters.
That's
right now is the only moment that matters. So today, eat healthy, eat properly, give yourself the rest and beautiful thoughts, meditate, take a walk in nature, make some good food, spend online time with loved ones if you can't go see them. But yeah.
And just remember, guys, that we're creating a new reality for ourselves every day. Every day. Eat your drink.
I love you so much. You guys are awesome. Do you use Zoom for one-on-one sessions? I actually use Skype, but we could use Zoom for sure if you want to use Zoom. I'm game with whatever. I've done Facebook live chats before for those as well. So yeah, whatever you want to do for the live sessions. Again, the coaching is at payhip.com/rawfoodromance, and the 40% off all the ebooks code is Immunity 2020, and you can find all of that. I wrote the link in the in there in the chat box. But yeah, so thank you guys so much. We're going to get going. I'm going to start working on the Checkmate Cravings book again. I got to get that finished for you, hopefully by the end of May. And somebody's here. Hey, Jacob's here. Nate's son, Jacob. Yeah, check it out.
Bye, guys.
So thank you guys so much for joining, and we'll be live again next week. And remember, Nate is going live on Saturday, so head over to his channel to check that out. Until the next one, love you all, and fruit.